the idea of gender roles, that is a value that I hold. That is a value that Christians traditionally have held, Muslims traditionally have held and still hold. And gender roles shouldn't be seen as a restriction in the sense that, oh, you're a slave. Yes, so in Islam there are gendered rules. Like men and women do have different rules. And this is on the basis of God's revelation. Why? Because men and women aren't the same. Treating men and women as if they have the same body, the same psychology, the same mentality, the same personality traits. This is actually injustice. It's actually going to lead to real oppression, because
right.
you're
Can I just
treating.
cut in
Sure.
for just 1 second about that? Because that kind of goes back to the equality that you brought up earlier, that, but I don't think being equal means we're the same. Like, I believe here in the United States, you and I are equals. We have equal rights. We have equal opportunities. We're equal in every way, but we are definitely not the same people. I mean, you're all the way in Texas. I'm here. We're very different people. We're obviously different people. And I'm sure you've got skills that I don't have, and I have skills that you don't have. We are not the same. I'm sure in an arm wrestling match you'd beat me, but it doesn't mean that we're not equal. So there is, there is a group in society that is trying to create an equality that turns us all into unisex. Everybody's just given the same things. This is kind of the criticism. People are saying, oh my gosh, we're becoming communists, right? Because then everybody will be given the same amount of money and it won't matter what type of effort they put out, right? There is that criticism for sure, but that doesn't mean, but equality comes in many forms. That's just one definition of equality. And it's a definition I don't agree with, and I think most people don't actually agree with it.
Well, my definition of equality it's the Islamic definition, is that men and women are equal in terms of spiritually before God. In Islam, men and women are seen as equal, and we're judged only on the basis of our piety and our righteousness and our service of God. So a woman who prays and fasts and is a servant of God is going to be at the same level as a man who does the same thing as well. All things being equal, they're spiritually at the same level and therefore equal. But in terms of their roles in society, I think it's a mistake and it's a disaster to think that women can do everything that men can do and men can do everything that women can do. This is something that is just belied by basic biology, basic, science of psychology. Men and women are very, very different. So in my ideal role, women would see it as their priority, and men would see it as the priority for women to be primarily as mothers, caretakers, nurturing the next generation, rather than being in the halls of power or in the public domain working alongside men. This is something that has caused a disaster, in society. Like when you look at, this is part of the breakdown in marriage, because if you tell women that, okay, go into a workplace and sit alongside other men, human beings are human beings. People have desires. They fall into fornication and adultery. This is something that every religion has seen as a disaster because it destroys marriage, it destroys family. But, in the modern world, it's just normalized. Men and women should sit together. And Islam is not against women working per se, just against women and men mixing together in a kind of sexualized environment that causes, the Me Too movement. It was interesting fallout of the Me Too movement that a lot of men in the corporate world said, look, I'm not going to meet with you privately if you're the opposite sex, because I don't want any accusations thrown at me or suspicions. And this is actually an Islamic thing. If you go farther back, it's a Christian thing too. It's a traditional thing, right, that men and women shouldn't be privately meeting with each other because it raises an eyebrow. It raises like, okay, what are they really doing behind closed doors? And this is kind of it's like the secular world discovered that after the Me Too movement, but it's not like a new discovery. Muslims and other traditional people have been practicing this for centuries, for generations. So there's a right way to live, I think. And you can try to discover it on your own and fall into all kinds of harms and disasters. And maybe eventually you won't figure it out, or you can rely on God. You can rely on revelation. You can rely on God giving guidance. And God said, yeah, don't, mix with the opposite gender. Don't dress in kind of provocative ways to entice others towards lust, etc. So these are the kinds of values that are gendered. It's gender rolled. And it's kind of an enlightenment or atheistic propaganda to say, oh, this is oppressing the opposite sex, or women are
Well,
second class citizens.